We got the man himself, Alan Beaton.
Hello,
He's
Alex.
He's in the building.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to get here. Lovely cup of tea there as well. Tremendous.
Right, well, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
I think... Oh, I'm just trying to think the first time we met.
First time. I was, funnily enough, I was thinking about this in the drive out here. I think, from memory, I think it was one Christmas Day, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Huff Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had some family over.
I remember playing some sort of bat and ball game with your mum.
With my old dear, she had a nightmare, didn't she? She was all nervous, you know. It's not great around people sometimes, and she got absolutely plastered.
Right, yeah.
Fell over on the way home and cut off her face.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah. She looked like an old man had battered her. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, man. And that was back in the days, obviously, when you were more clean cut.
Yeah.
The
that was
original Beaton.
back in Sides Brigade then. It was clean as a whistle.
Then you met Sean Foley and everything.
I digress.
You thought, that's a bit of me.
Yeah. A big bushy beard, that was on the go at one point as well. Had some rascal movements.
So that was what?
Good 5
or 6 years
5
ago,
or 6
maybe.
years
Yeah.
ago, yeah. I can't have been in town longer than a year and a half then. 2 years
Yeah.
tops maybe, yeah. So
How did you sort of get into the group?
the
The friend group?
I think I said long hair. I just started growing it. Do you know what? Funnily, I think it might have been Sean and whatnot. Brian Malloy through football, and then years in the pub and whatnot.
Frankton FC.
Definitely falls. Yeah, the Frankton FC was some crack. Took that bus everywhere. It was great.
Man, and then, well, from there, I don't know. Next thing you know, we're in a band.
We were in a band. That came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Because we obviously had Little Dan, then we had
Big Phil.
Big Phil, and then
Regular Al.
regular Al, medium size Al.
Bit beige.
Because there was, I'm sure you probably already know, we had talks about like, right, we need a new bass player.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And then there was this conversation of like, do we get someone, you know, who's great on the bass,
decent players out
or
there.
do we just get someone who's like sound?
Yeah.
And we went for option B.
Yeah.
So, well, it was funny because Gav, you know, came in and was like, oh yeah, Alan wants to be in the band. And it was like, well, everyone wants to be in the band, mate.
Yeah.
Can he play? And he was like, yeah. It's like, all right. He's like, well, he plays guitar. I was like, that's good enough. That is good enough.
When it actually came around, I remember it was one Thursday night and it was middle of winter and Gav phoned me up and he's pretty, he's like on the phone, he's pretty straight to the point, not asking how you're doing.
Right, yeah.
Oh, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just at the house. He's like, oh, yeah, everything all good? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, come on, spit it out, what's coming here? He's like, just wondering if you want to play bass for the band. And I was like, nah, no chance. I was like, I play acoustic, a little bit of electric, but I was like, I never touched bass really. And he's like, I'll bring you one round tomorrow, you try 5 songs out. I was like,
5 songs.
I was like, yeah, and do you know what?
Straight in.
It was like Invaders Must Die, A Certain Romance. I picked it up and I thought, that's some hard rhythm to keep there. But I gave it a wee crack and then I think you came round one day another time and we had a wee jam down at Marty's then after. I was pretty nervous about that. But it was great, you know, because, I mean, I remember being, I just had no interest in being in a band really, because I remember living in Australia and I had an ex-girlfriend that put me up to do like an open mic night.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I was like, oh Jesus, here we go. You know, I just liked playing for my own pleasure and whatnot. And she put me up to it anyway, and I hated every minute of it. The songs went okay, and everyone was like, yeah, you know, fantastic,
Yeah.
well done.
But you're very much the focus when you're on your
Oh,
own.
it's very different, very different. And then as soon as Gav asked me the question, it was like a flashback to that moment. I was like, nah, that big light, the big noise, no chance. And then. Oh, but from that first jam we had, it was straight away. It was just playing tunes with your mates and different bars, venues, festivals.
It's funny, eh? Like gigging is like hit or miss with me.
Yeah.
My favourite part of being in a band is practice and recording.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you have a good gig, it's great.
Aye.
But like you said, sometimes I'm like, oh, the pressure's too much.
It is,
And
isn't
I'm
it?
just like, I don't enjoy it until it's finished, and I'm like, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Nothing went wrong. It was good. You know. I find it hard to really enjoy the moment, and I forever have people in the crowd like, smile.
Yeah,
you look well bored. It's like, I'm concentrating, man. I'm trying to remember 40 songs.
That's it. And it's funny when. Yeah, I totally agree with it. You know, there can be a gig that you've been looking forward to for ages and ages, and you get 3 songs in and you just feel it's fast, or you're not feeling it, and you feel the lights, and it just all becomes too much.
Do you get nervous?
Yeah. Well, strangely, I get weird.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't say I'm sitting there shaking or anything, but for about like an hour before, I get a wee different feeling, and then I don't really know what to do with myself. The worst thing you can do, though, is, especially, I love a beer, you know, the first thing you can do is scale up a couple of beers, and then it's like, oh no.
Oh well, we've found that out, haven't we?
There's been a few of those performances. But then on the flip side, like, look at, like, you know, there was that one we had down at Searchlight, and I was thinking, this is going to be a disaster. I did a huge week. I'd just flown in from Christchurch 20 minutes before, and I thought, this is going to be a nightmare. And it turns out it's probably one of the best ones we've played.
That's a great gig.
Phenomenal, out of nothing. So it's hit or miss, as you say.
Because I said this to Gav before. Did you get nervous? And he was like, nah, never.
Yeah, stubborn.
And I'm like, what do you mean never? Nah, buzzing, always. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Nah, that's not me, man. It's so funny as well because, you know, not every gig, but most gigs we're playing for mates.
Absolutely,
so you can't go too wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's also, you know, being sober, I'm sort of like analysing the gig as it's going. And afterwards, I'm like, I did this wrong, and this song wasn't great, and whatever. And no one remembers, man. Everyone in the crowd's so mashed up. They're like, yeah, it was great, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even before, because I've got a slightly different perspective on the band as well, because I've been in the crowd for a couple of years as well, and just been around it. And absolutely, as soon as we started playing that first gig went really well, the World Bar. Then the second one, it just didn't fit that well for me. And like you say, just the pure analysis you do yourself afterwards, and you go home because the adrenaline dump kicks in, and you go to bed and you're like, that was pants. Looking forward to that all week. And then, you know, I've never ever been to even like gigs that maybe the boys didn't enjoy before and think that was rubbish, you know, because it's all about just sharing the moment with all your mates and that. And
I would like to watch one of our own gigs, you know. I don't think it'd be the same if we filmed it though and watched it. I kind of want to. Maybe I need to get the old wireless guitar and because it always sounds so different up on the stage than it does in the crowd.
Certainly. So, even when we're jamming, you know, you just have to walk 5 paces to your left and you totally hear your
I hate that too, man. Just like, I don't know if anyone is aware of that, you know. When you're on stage, you can't hear. It's so funny, man. I'm right next to you, and Dave's like 2 meters away, and I can't hear either of your instruments at all.
That's it.
I just have to go off. I can usually hear the drums, which is, if I can hear the drums, then everything's fine. But
and everything changes when you go on stage as well. I used to always hear, like, you know, big prestigious bands, Fleetwood Mac, Stones and whatnot, saying it's like we don't know each other when we get up there. And I think, come on, 30 years, he's partnered with half of them, Fleetwood Mac, and then I was like, how? But it's true, kind of, as well. I mean, with gigs, the last one we did in Yonder, it's, you know, I felt I couldn't get near Dave. He was worlds apart. I think I looked at him about 4 times because I was just so lost in it. And it can be a really different experience. And a bigger stage as well. The King Beats one, you're miles away from each other.
Yeah. And even like the last one in Wanaka, something as small as that light that was just shining up.
Nightmare.
Blind.
Yeah.
Absolutely blind, man. I couldn't see anything.
Absolutely. And, you know, I am a sucker for that as well. If I notice something and it's putting me off, I really struggle to get it out of my head. And, it'd be great if you could not let these things affect you, you know, just carry on. But that was terrible lighting, wasn't it?
Yeah, horrible. Look down, couldn't even see my guitar. So I'm just like guessing, and then you'd come into the light and you'd be like, oh, I'm in the complete wrong fret, you know?
And I was like, the stage was that, so I was up on top of that wine barrel.
You had one leg on a wine barrel.
I'm stood there like a proper flamingo or something.
That was such a crazy night.
Free bar for 6 hours before it as well.
Oh my God.
Good luck standing straight. Yeah, that was tough going. I think it was over audio engineer as well, wasn't it? It was a big pub, really, and It was just blaring.
Blew my eyeballs out my ears.
Yeah, and we were almost on the better side of it. Like, everybody that stood there for... If you'd listened to 6 hours of music there, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, man. See it, like, legitimate damage probably done to your ears,
no worries.
Oh, man.
You could have made all the right decisions your whole life and then just one night
that's it,
isn't
it?
Racket.
I feel like that at work sometimes. You think, I can't be bothered putting on my ear defenders for this one thing. I've left them over there. And then you do it and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That has wrecked 3 weeks of saving my hearing, that noise.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So that kind of brings me on to the fire brigade.
Yeah, the fire brigade.
One of the reasons that we have got young Alan on this episode, every time we're at band practice, he's got some mad story and we ask him a billion questions. Get him on.
Yeah.
I think it was actually Dave Walker who suggested it. And Dave Walker gets a mention every episode of this podcast. And I'm going to continue to mention him.
Because he throws everyone under the bus.
Until he comes on. He's got to come on. He refuses to come on his own.
He needs to get a tattoo as well.
He does, actually. That's a good point. If anyone sees Dave out, tell him he's got to get a Danger Wank tattoo.
Yeah.
Alan got one. Committed.
Yeah, it was good.
Gav's got one. I've got one.
Yeah.
Marty's
still got it.
He's I think he's edging towards it. Dave sometimes yes, sometimes no. But
yeah.
So, you're the man that does everything, Alan. You're in the football team. You're in the hurling team. You're in the band. You're playing squash all the time. I don't know how you get the energy. But the fire brigade. So, obviously, well, in New Zealand more than anywhere, I say, we have the voluntary fire brigade, right?
Very much so, yeah. We've got, I seen some figures not too long ago. I think it's about 11,000 volunteers and maybe 3,000 just career staff.
Really, yeah.
Across the country, and I know that's quite similar in Australia as well, you know, in the different states. But
so what was the sort of like, I want to be a fireman? How did that come around?
Oh, I don't know. It's funnily enough, I remember getting the first interview. You know, I decided I wanted to give it a crack, sort of thing. I remember sitting there, the chief, Andrew Barry, his name was at the time. He's a brilliant fella. He's moved on to Dunedin now, but he was interviewing me, and he's you know, all the usual questions. Are you a resident? You know, what do you do for work? What do you think you can bring us? What sort of skills do you have? And then like the $1 million question, why do you want to be a fireman? And I knew it was coming, but so I was thinking, you got to say something decent, you know, a diverse enterprise that's going to save the community.
I want to help the community,
offer back. And what comes out of my mouth, you know, something about, I like the big shiny trucks and the flash. And I was like, oh, I was like, when I was a wee boy, it's all I wanted to do. And then I just kept on, and then the wee voice in my head just going, oh, that's it, you're not
I used to watch Fireman Sam all the time.
Yeah, all that stuff. It was an early desire for me, and oh man, I could just feel my face getting redder and just sinking into the hole. And that could have been that. It got worse. I was only 4 then though. It was like my next job I wanted to be a fishmonger, and I was like, wow, where are you going with this? I was obsessed with fish when I was a kid, and I used to see the guy that worked in the fish fan in Tesco's car park, and I thought he had it sorted, you know.
Yeah.
And here's me telling this to the big fire chief, just going down the chute.
You did a bit of that, did you, in Australia, the fishing boats and that?
Worked a fishing boat, yeah. Worked sort of trap fishing, so 3 weeks at a time. And
you're crossing these goals off, mate.
Yeah, kicking them all off. But in the end, I went home that night and I was kicking myself, you know. And then the next day, I couldn't put it to bed. I was like, nah, he seemed like a nice bloke. I'll phone him up and see if he'll get me a second shot. I picked up, he was wetting himself. He's like, don't worry, it's all nerves.
I want to take it back. I take it all back. I'd never wanted to be a fishmonger.
Yeah. Imagine that in kids. You know, one kid wants to be a wrestler, the one wants to be an astronaut.
Oh man, my friend back home, when we were about sort of 17, 18, he decided he wanted to be a fireman. We went down the fire station to have a chat, and I was like, I had this moment where I was like, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
That's a decent job, fireman.
It's pretty inspiring when you get into it. I was
like, okay. And I said to him, like, what's the requirements, you know? And like, you know, I'm not very big now, but I was even smaller back then.
Aye.
And he went, okay, say there's a fire. Could you go up a ladder and rescue your own self over your shoulder and carry yourself down a ladder? And I was like, nah. And he's like, not for you.
Yeah.
Work on it. I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. And after that, I sort of thought, geez, imagine if I had to pick up someone heavier than me, and you got to do it. Like, you know, sometimes in them situations,
and that's the way I look at it. I think he's obviously setting you up, you know.
Yeah,
he fancy it. He doesn't have to literally do it. But,
of course, yeah.
Oh, but certainly it's, you know, especially if you're in the back seat, I wouldn't be comfortable going into a fire if my partner wasn't capable of lifting me out. If something went wrong,
of course,
trapped under a beam, or let you go to the Ridges Hotel, I feel you got to be able to take a 70, 80, 90 kilogram casualty on your shoulder down and go back in looking for more. So it's more fitness really, because you get.
So just dialing back a little bit, you want to be a fireman.
Yeah.
You tell him about the fishmonger.
Yeah.
he's like, this guy's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Is there like, you got to go and do this training
certainly.
Course?
Yeah, and it's like, although it's volunteer, you know, people, for myself as well, when I turned up, volunteer just literally means you're not on a wage for it. It's such a professional organisation, from the chiefs right down, senior firefighters, all the way down to recruits, to all the other businesses and helpers that we get around the place. And I mean, it costs a lot of money to put a firefighter through, tens of thousands of dollars to get you qualified.
So they want to make sure you're worth it.
Your gear's premium, you're going to courses up and down the country. So, yeah, so the next thing is after a few interviews and a few coming down to stations and sort of, you're very limited to what you can try out with, because once you have to pass the medical and a couple of other bits and pieces, and then you get all your gear sent to you, and then you can go through your recruit courses, the boot camps, and you're getting trained quite intensively twice a week for about however much you put in, but up to about a year, and you're sent off to a recruit course in Wilston in Christchurch, mine was, which is pretty out of it. Like, you know, you're put into some, you know, you're opening up containers, it's fire come rolling around the corner, knocking you off, and they're just watching
you. Do like confined spaces?
Confined spaces, yeah. So the BAT B and the RIFB, they call it. You're down these down an assault course of things, and sometimes you're carrying casualties, sometimes you're leading your mate, and there'll be people that, like, the trainers will be in there and they'll be giving it to you, man. They'll be telling off your cylinder and they'll be giving you a kick, and then you run out of air, it comes out of you, and they want to see, they basically are testing to see if you're going to rip your mask off. If you rip your mask off, you're not ready to go out on the job, because you've got to go through the procedures and basically turn it back on, or find if there's been a link missing. If you pull your mask off and it's toxic fumes around,
makes sense.
Hazardous materials. So
man.
There's a lot to it. And
do you ever have a moment when you're like, this is not for me?
Oh, I mean,
or were you just like loving it?
I absolutely adore it, and I do it because I love the role and I love the people I do it with, and that's the basics. I could talk till I'm blue in the face about all the other bits and bobs that are great about the community and the team playing, and personally as well. But now and again there is when your pager goes, you know, it can be at 4:00 in the morning. You can be at work. I quite like that side of it. You know, you're sort of playing away with a door, making it fit just nice, and then it goes. 2 minutes later, you're flying 200 clicks off to something, and then you snap back into it again. You know, it's.
See, that's the thing as well. You're not just dealing with fire. That's the the fireman. Quite cool, isn't it? Putting out fires, the big hose and all that. Yeah. That's cool. But when you get like, you know, beep 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 beep, and then it says
purple medical
someone's killed himself.
Yeah, and you
got to be like, oh great.
Yeah, you got
to take that too.
They're never fun, those jobs. They're always pretty emotional, but you turn up and you know you've got a job to do. Yeah. The thing is, it's never just you. You're always, as a firefighter, you're generally the lowest would be you turn up with 4 people. Like a crew of 4, it's generally 6. Yeah. In a fire truck, and you turn up and so it's not just like you might I've only been doing it for 3.5 years. But you've got a collective experience in that truck. Of course, people doing it 20 years, 30 years, and you turn up with a role to play. When you turn up to something like that, it's it comes through as a purple medical call, and you find out when you hit the station. You tend to get more information as it's coming through from the 111 caller or whatever the event is, and you turn up to something like that, and you go on to do more than likely it's going to be CPR, defibrillator, and then. Ideally, paramedics are getting there at that point, and
sure, can the paramedics not get there faster than you?
It depends. Police are generally fastest on the scene. That's something that people often ask is about turnout times and whatnot. But by during the night we've got a crew that live on station, so we've got.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe 8 firefighters in that at the minute, and then there's always, I stayed on station Monday and Tuesday night covering there. So during the night, that truck's out the door in 3 minutes because you're just there for it. That's between 9 at night and 7 in the morning. And then during the day, everyone's very close as well. There's generally people on station during the day as well.
Do you have,
so active.
like, well, not required, but like optimum leaving times?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first truck's out the door within 3 to 5 minutes, and that's the same with career staff as well. And then the second truck, it's all about the first truck, to be honest, in fire. It gets there and it can start taking control of a situation.
Yeah.
And the second truck, if it's needed, backs it up. Third truck, fourth, fifth, and then start, like, other parties can come in as well. But generally speaking, most things that we ever turn up to, police will be there quickly because they're just driving around town pretty much, and they're just ready to
getting donuts.
Yeah, so they're just these speedy little cars, and we're just hauling a big truck up.
Yeah, and as everybody, I mean, do you have a designated role, or is it get there and then just, because surely there's got to be a organised thing.
Yeah.
Like what was it there? It was like, I can't remember. My sport knowledge is so shit. It's football, not football, rugby or netball or something like that, where your number on your shirt is like your position. I didn't realise there was that sort of thing going on. So is there like, you sit in this seat in the fire truck, this is your job?
Definitely, yeah. Even if you loosely see any, like if you see any fire ground that's operative, it's a red helmet, that's the officer.
I'm guessing the guy in the driver's seat's the driver.
Driver's the driver, yeah. That's
I know that one.
That's the easy one. So generally speaking, if you've got like say a truck that says 6 persons and driver, often more often than not doubles up as the pump operator as well. So that's, you know, basically running the pumps. You can be sending deliveries on an active fire job.
Yeah.
For anything else, he can jump in and assist, or she can jump in and assist. In the front left, that's the officer. So the officer, careful I put this, doesn't do as much active on the job, but will be going in and constantly doing you know,
he's like organising
360 of the situation continuously, updating comms, instructing us. So basically you're back forward, the back seat. That's kind of where all the fun is, I reckon, because you're the hands and legs and
front line,
you're going for it front line. It's brilliant. So you know when you're turning up to a job, you're going to be going for it, whatever is happening.
And do you have you personally, do you have a set, like, this is your thing? Or on the way there, are you discussing, like, you go and do the thing, you go and do this?
Yeah, there is. In some way, like, in the number 1 and number 2, they'll always get, if you're going to an active fire, they're always going to be getting to BA. So you've got your BA in the back of the truck. You can be
that's the breathing
apparatus.
Yeah,
for a lovely years.
Yeah.
And so you're getting into that, and then hopefully you've got another 2 there as well, and they can be running hoses and getting it. So by the time you're out geared up, you can be going into a building quite quick, especially if there's people in there, you know. But the thing is, your pager goes off, and then you get an app that goes off as well, and you say yes or no if you're going to make it there. And that's great because it tracks you, so you know how long people are going to get there.
Yep.
So yeah, every truck that goes out, it's always got an officer, always got a confirmed driver, and a back row of at least 1 and 2 breathing apparatus qualified wearers, and 2 of maybe the same. It can be 2 other officers.
Because it's crazy, man. Fire is mental.
It's an incredible phenomenon. Yeah.
We've actually got this job to go and fix soon. That house that caught fire Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And I don't know how quick you guys got there, but it was quick. It was real quick.
Yeah. Up Clifford Heights, wasn't it?
Yeah. They pumped 1 billion litres of water into the place, you know, controlled the fire, blah, blah, blah. It was only on fire for maybe like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is a wreck in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was in there, I was like, whoa, this is mental, man.
It doesn't take much.
And it just was from a electrical cable.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm such an anorak because I'm telling everyone off these days, because the vast majority I've gone round with, been in these mental fires, and I've gone round afterwards doing the investigations with investigation officers.
Yeah.
And it's just cables. It's just cables. If they don't need to be on your wall, just pull them out, just switch them off.
Yeah.
And I'll never buy cheap cables from places because they just, if it's got the slightest kink in it,
yeah,
total fire hazard.
Yeah.
And like, building sites are the worst as well. You know, there's just so much things.
This
that go
is
on
like
fire.
partly a worry now.
Yeah.
Now I'm a homeowner. I haven't really announced that on the podcast yet, but guys, whatever. I bought a house. Get over it. But like the old fireplace in there, I'm like, I want to get the chimney swept ASAP.
Yeah, brilliant.
Old wiring, I'm just like, oh god, it's like I literally can't afford to rewire it.
Oh, aye.
But as I'm working on it, my eyes are on everything. You know, I'm just like, I can't deal with it because that one we was just talking about before.
Yeah.
Those people bought that house. You know, lovely new house, redecorated the whole thing, and then it caught fire to an electrical fault that they didn't know about.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's just
you'd be devastated, man.
Yeah, man. Look what's at stake. You know, your life savings. You know, buying a house is generally the biggest thing you do in your life for most people. You know.
Well, mine was
financially
joining Danger Inc.
Yeah,
actually, not even joining, starting.
Yeah, creator.
I'm a co-founder. But yeah, man, it's just I don't know. Fire just so fast gets out of control.
There's
fast.
so many, like, I think people, the way we see it a lot in building now, and there's so many measures we take to, you know, like double sheeting and fire doors and try to seal different parts of the building off to max it, like, so that when the smoke alarms go off, it's contained to one room and you can see and you go, everyone gets out. But at the same time, like, fires they catch faster than they ever now, because it's just like back in the day, people would be using, like, your couch would be a springy old cotton thing, and that was just your couch. Nowadays everyone's so precious and like their luxuries, it's all waxed up, oily. You could, like, you know, 20 plus litres of petrol in your couch just to make the foam this, you know. People don't think about that. Just start a fire and get a flash over to that, it just go boom. And that carries on right through the place. And it's a little things you don't think
Take it back to asbestos, mate.
Yeah.
Put asbestos. It's probably safer in general.
Up.
Oh, man.
So,
so the more I hear about the fire brigade, I'm sort of like, I'm glad I didn't sign up for it, you know?
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's certainly not for everyone. There's plenty of people that sort of come to me in the pub and say they fancy doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone can see themselves kicking a door in.
That's it,
driving a big
the glamour.
Truck, the glitz and glamour, yeah. But really, you know, it can be, and people just aren't tough enough for it. When I say tough enough, I don't mean like a burly person. It's like, are you tough enough to go out of your bed at 4 a.m. and spend 3 hours in the sideways snow and that, you know? I think a lot of people just aren't willing to do that sort of stuff, sitting in shipping containers and stuff, just mad things going on.
See, that's the thing as well, like, if you get a call out 3 a.m, you're in bed, you have to get up, go do the call out.
Yeah.
Then you get back home at like 5, you still got to go to work at 7.
That's it, yeah. And that's what I mean, the toughness.
Do you ever call in and be like, lads, I've just been...
Oh, yeah, I mean...
I'm going to be in late, or do you just power on?
I work self-employed, so it's kind of easier, I can sort of control my hours, but at the same time, you certainly could be letting people down on a building site if you aren't going to be there. I've definitely got a valid excuse for taking another couple of hours in bed. Yeah. But see, the thing is, often enough, when you come off them, you're just flying with adrenaline anyway. It's about, you know, especially if it's been a particularly full-on job, it's 7 or 8 hours before you'd be interested in sleeping. So as well, just going to work. And that's where the toughness comes in, because you got to go, there's a lot of sleep deprivation that comes with it.
Oh, man.
But yeah.
I'm just remembering a time we were building a school, and it was like 2 days before handover. Finished.
Yeah.
And they were putting in the last touches to the showers, the communal gym showers, which is still weird that they do communal showers and that. It's weird. But the guy was basically sticking like vinyl on the wall. He's got the big heat torch, and he's just clipped the sprinkler, and it's just pinged off the sprinkler. Oh man, like the amount of water that comes out of the sprinkler.
Oh yeah,
and it's from comes through all the greased pipes. It's black. Just this, honestly, man, it was all over all the new electrical board, and within like, I don't know, a minute, it was nearly ankle deep in there, and I was like, holy Jesus, man.
the Sky City up in was it the Sky City? No, the Arts building up in Auckland last year as well.
That's right. That went ablaze, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 days of pure fire, and then it continued on hot spots after that. And that was the same idea. It was a roofing contractor with a torch. I'm going on Smoko.
Yeah.
Don't know how many $1 million of damage it was.
That's roofers, mate.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a
dodgy
funny
bunch,
breed, didn't they? The roofer.
Yeah.
They're a bit mental.
Always pretty noisy.
Oh man.
So
that's it. Where'd you go from here with the fire brigade?
Yeah.
You're now what? You're just considered what crew? Is there a name for that?
Yeah. So that's kind of how we got onto it. It's you go in at different levels. So first up, you're in at a recruit. The recruit's always got a green helmet, so you can spot them straight away in the fireground. It's not some officer's not just gonna
do this.
But so that's you're in at recruit level for about a year, and then you become BA qualified, and you're in that role. You're considered a firefighter there, a volunteer firefighter, and I'm qualified now. So I did that, and then went on did my QFF. So that was another course up in Rotorua, and you
sort of qualified firefighter.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big one.
Got the lingo, man.
Yeah, and then
BA,
you go to seniors.
QFF.
You go all the way through.
999.
Yeah, what should I imagine? Go seniors after that, and you can go into officer, and then in parallel with it, you can go off and do things like line. The thing is, we do when you sort of think firefighting, you're thinking rural fire, structural fire, motor vehicle collisions, but out with that, it's just so much rescue work, random, like up the gondola, taking folk off, and the most bizarre rescues.
Cats out of trees,
medical events. Phenomenal things, you get some right strange ones along the way.
And is this like, do you think you'll do that, you'll pursue it up to
go career at it?
Well, just to go up the ranks a bit more, or you're happy where you're at, or
it's one of those things, it's like you get in with a wee idea. I was quite happy just to go in and be happy at firefighter level, and then when I got there I was like, you know what, I fancy going QFF. Now QFF, I'm about to start doing my drivers. I'm going to do the you start with your class 2, so I'm sitting that test at the minute, and then they take you up to sort of lights and sirens, and that's when it starts to get a bit full on.